I don't believe anything the government tells me. Nothing. I might as well go up and talk to a wall, 'cause all the words are having no effect at all. It's a funny thing. Am I all alone?
Welcome to Bendy Spacetime's Open Mic Hour. I'm your host, Bendy Spacetime. All of us have that friend, the oblivious person who we know is being cheated on. We say, "You're getting played for a fool, player." And they say, "You don't understand. It's special." Mark Twain wrote, "It's easier to fool a man than to convince him that he's been fooled." It's hard to admit, but I think my government's cheating on me. I've caught my government checking out other citizens from other countries. She takes them in and offers them things she won't give me. I'm like, hello, I wouldn't mind having some health care. Normally, I wouldn't make my personal life so public. There's no need to parade my relationship drama in front of everyone. But damn, son, if you're American and my government's cheating on me, that means that your government's cheating on you. Do you feel me? We are referred to as the Whore of Babylon. Yeah, I see you normie Europeans out there. Yeah, the relationship we have with our government is good. They take good care of us with the jobs, the taxes, and the health care. And I see you loyalists from the Crown Nations. Yeah, Brits get a little emotional when they talk about their government. Oh, I don't know about your government, but the NHS is ace, and my government cares for me. And you Kiwis, I understand why you Yanks are packing a sad. I'd be knackered if my relationship with my government was as dodgy as yours. But yeah, no, we're stoked. Our government's sweet as. Bloody good as gold. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to take a mandatory anal swab for the allergy. Otherwise, my freedom pass will be revoked. If you'd like to... if you'd like to perform, listen live, and or participate in the pre and after show, join Geo's Earth Awakening's Discord server. The link can be found in the description below. So the first piece I have is an original piece of music from Miss Shines. So let me just go ahead and start that up.
Hey, can you hear me? Is anybody out there? Are you listening? Are you listening? Desperately needing a shoulder to mistreat, make it feel the hurt that I'm feeling. Misuse, abuse it, only to feel pure love returning to me. Find someone just like me. Is anybody out there? Can you hear me? A giver, taker, a sinner so faithful, skeptic, believer, blessed, I'm grateful. Is anybody out there? Just like me. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Everyone's stones polished up ready. Everyone's crosses weighing heavy. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Are you feeling me now? Can you feel my heart bleed out? Crown of diamonds, thorns blink, ouch. Mathematics, facts, truth, doubt. Only when evil exists can we experience innocence. Such a beautiful balance. Balance so beautiful as if it has a purpose. Finding meaning, finding our worth. It's you, it's me, it's we. Falling together sinisterly. Learning to pick each other up beautifully. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Everyone's stones polished up ready. Everyone's crosses weighing heavy. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Everyone's stones polished up ready. Everyone's crosses weighing heavy. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. I'm that shoulder you can lean on. I'm the one who make you right in agreement. What else you expect? Hella high water, we're all drowning, using each other as a life vest. Connect only at the same level. Too high to swim, too low to break even. Cut Caught up in the Icarus deception. Gods, peasants, demon, ya heathen. It's only in the middle that we slide by. It's all a setup, baby, we all born to die. So choose wisely how you live your life. Top, middle, bottom, doesn't matter, none of us survive. I heard it deep in your voice tonight. Such sorrow, ache for freedom from your mind. To feel the love we all feel for you. If only you could see yourself the way I see you. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Everyone's stones polished up, ready. Everyone's crosses weighing heavy. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Everyone's stones polished up, ready. Everyone's crosses weighing heavy. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. They like you when they meet you, love you once they know ya. Hate you once they see right through ya. Pitchforks, fire in hands, they will rally ya up, hang you for your passion. We all martyrs, we all play the part. We're all saviors, we all good at heart. We all Judas, wicked, sick. We all just humans doing our best. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Everyone's stones polished up, ready. Everyone's crosses weighing heavy. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Everyone's stones polished up, ready. Everyone's crosses weighing heavy. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Everyone's stones polished up, ready. Everyone's crosses weighing heavy. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me. Everyone's stones polished up, ready. Everyone's crosses weighing heavy. Like me, love me, hate me, hang me.
All right, yeah, that was a original piece called "Ill Fresh" from Miss Shines. Very cool. And so next I wanted to do a poem. This is one that actually I've never done like in public before. I had friends kind of warn me like, you can't read that in public. But so I thought I'd give it a shot here and see what you guys think. This is called vocabulary malfunction. Terrorist. Noun. A person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. The Federal Bureau of Investigation wants me to believe that a vegan who won't eat honey because they don't want to exploit bees is a terrorist because they expose the horrors of factory farming. Or the crunchy environmentalist who drinks out of a repurposed glass jar to save a minuscule bit of natural resources in a society that has made everything, including humans, disposable, likewise is a terrorist for protesting the building of a pipeline. Or the cop watcher who uses what little power the people have left, the First Amendment, to lawfully document public officials in the course of their duties, is also a terrorist. Or the so-called conspiracy theorist that doubts the official narrative is a terrorist because they question that 4 airplanes could crash without leaving a single recognizable piece of fuselage, wing, or tail, or seat, or even one fucking piece of luggage behind. But the drone pilots, who sit safely thousands of miles away, who will go home tonight and hug their wives or husbands and tuck their children into bed before they watch Monday Night Football or Dancing with the Stars. Once every 16 minutes, an airman will unleash a Hellfire missile made by Northrop Grumman and paid for by you at a cost of $117,000. Once every 16 minutes, a hero will guide 18 pounds of high explosives, a metal augmented charge at 1,000 miles per hour towards tiny figures on a monitor displaying highly contrasted shades of gray. Once every 16 minutes, a patriot will murder farmers working in a field, children being treated in a hospital, or revelers partying after a wedding. Once every 16 minutes, survivors will wail at the loss of loved ones, be traumatized for a lifetime, and hate us not for our freedom, but because we don't let this sad state of affairs distract us from the latest episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Even if they are in flagrant violation of international natural law, even if 90% of their victims are civilians. Even if their actions are solely determined by the pursuit of political aims, these pilots are soldiers, heroes, and patriots. My dictionary must be broken. So yeah, since I live in an Air Force town, people tell me that I can't go out and do that piece in public. So we've kind of held that one back. To follow up with something a little bit lighter, I call this Ode to Proper Footgear. To you good people, advice I give, making your life easier to live. If this simple lesson you would heed, and take to heart the words I read. Guy jaywalks in front of my car. Zombie gate. Hope he's not going far. Fashion sense like he has no girlfriend. His choice in clothing, it's hard to defend. Slide on flip flops, 3 sizes too small. Crossing the street, his pace just a crawl. The major moral to be learned here: life is easier with proper footgear. So, this episode, I kind of have the loose theme of relationships. Um, so, this is a poem, not really about a relationship, about wanting a relationship, I guess. This is called I Ride with Beauty. I ride with beauty each and every workday. Beauty guides our chariot safely and efficiently. Beauty makes my job a pleasure, like no other partner I've had before. Beauty twirls a lock of her hair absently. I steal glances at her while she drives. I wonder what it would be like to hold that hair in my hands, to smell it, nuzzle it, to grip it in the throes of passion. Beauty carries her stress in her shoulders and neck. I can see it while she drives. Beauty squirms and massages the muscles, the equivalent of scratching one's own back. I want so badly to reach over to say, I've got that, and use my fingers to free the knots in her neck. Instead, I go back to updating my resume. I need a new job. All right. I'm just going to do this piece. This might not make sense, but I'm just going to read this, and then it's going to have some additional stuff added to it after the fact, graphics and some audio. So, but this is just to lay down the text part. So I'll give this a read. I call this Bendy be Spellin'. So this is welcome to Bendy be Spellin', where I riff on the English language magic. In 1972, the Hollies released their 12th studio album, Romany. Courage of Your Convictions is a feisty B-side anthem. The lyrics preach solidarity, but they also reinforce the divisive core principle of an idiom foisted onto the mainstream consciousness. Be brave. Defend your cherished convictions. When opinions or beliefs are strong, they morph into convictions. We internalize these and they intertwine with our egos. When logic or reason conflicts with convictions, we experience cognitive dissonance. We get angry, defensive, and finally stop listening altogether. But convictions, no matter how deeply held, are just opinions or beliefs. Nietzsche wrote, convictions are stronger enemies to the truth than lies. A liar knows he is spreading false information, whereas a person with convictions believes they speak gospel. Newsflash, you are not your beliefs, Space Monkey. Be brave. Attack your cherished convictions. Scrutinize and assault them from every conceivable angle. If they hold up, awesome. If they fall apart, more awesome. But wait, Bendy, you just rehashed a dime a dozen Nietzsche quote and played some obscure song. Where's the English spelling magic? Everyone knows a conviction is the act of finding a person guilty of a crime. Nietzsche and the courage idiom use a different definition, a strong persuasion or belief. But conviction can also describe the state of being convinced. Thus, John's murder conviction, the DA's conviction of John's guilt, and the jury's conviction were the result of the overwhelming evidence. The verb convict also means to convince. Conviction in this context means the state of being compelled to admit the truth or the act of compelling the admission of a truth. In other words, your conviction could be the result of my conviction. Try wrapping your space monkey brain around that. So, Bendy Space Time's open mic hour is every Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 8 p.m. UTC time. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can build our audience as well as our performer base. You can find me at Bendy Space Time on YouTube and Twitter. This next piece is called Confessions of a Bad Dog Handler. The pent-up energy and frustration is obvious. Today's walk is going to be on the wild side. A bitch in heat, you bounce with excitement and anticipation. Oh, I'm flattered, but really, it's too much. The licking, the nibbling, the mouthing, they show a lack of discipline. Your master does not punish you enough, not the way you need it, not the way you want it. I have no similar compunction to inflicting pain. I know how much you like the discomfort. The metal choke collar is reserved for special occasions, when you've been extremely good. Less likely to leave an incriminating mark, the leather leash is quicker, more elegant. I form a loop with the handle and slip it over your neck. It constricts when you pull. My grip on the leather provides a steady pressure on your throat as you strain at the other end. You buck and ride, the frustration bursting forth at a frenzied rush. You and I both derive a perverse pleasure from the choking and asphyxiation. Straining against my control, your eyes bulge, and it concerns me. I relent, but you increase the fight, encouraging me to choke you harder. Your challenge met, the force increases on your tender windpipe. I struggle to maintain hold of the leash while you lead us to your favorite place to play. Here the real training can begin as I clip the leash to the fence. Now I have both hands free, and you cannot get away. My rewards are affection, stroking, petting, and touching you in ways your man won't. And when you perform at your very best, there is more choking and pain. Your master would not like me smoking here, but then again, he doesn't know what happens on our walks. Finished, I enjoy a cigarette and watch you lay still, the demons inside temporarily quieted. I love the way you glow after this negative attention. We both enjoy the confrontation and the distress. It makes you feel alive. It amplifies the thrill of this brief bout of freedom from the drab and boring life of a bitch stuck in a cold, concrete kennel. So this next piece is a piece about the thing that nobody ever wants to talk about, a thing that's kind of sitting in the middle of the room. I call it the 911-ton elephant. The CIA left their mastodon here. We tiptoe around it, living in fear. Nobody dares to disturb the monster. Blinders on, we choose to ignore her. The only time we acknowledge her rage, when the media invokes in this day and age. But nobody wants to come out and say, why is this mastodon in the way? We are warned of the terror and the hate. to keep us safe, we trust in the state. But few Americans ever see the demons unleashed to keep us free. We ignore the theft and the total graft of those who participate in the craft of waging wars and playing mind games, murdering children in all of our names. Meanwhile, the angst eats away at our freedom. How is it that we could be so dumb? Patriot Act passed with no debate. Right sacrifice, and now it's too late. Rumsfeld declared there were missing trillions, and the very next day, there were murdered civilians. All of the Air Force's strength and brawn, and they couldn't defend the Pentagon? Strange, weird, the coincidence it was. On that day, fighter jets took a pause from protecting the airspace of the Northeast. Ordinarily, there'd be dozens at least. The worst attack in our history, and those responsible for our safety, not one of them punished or demoted. In fact, instead, they all got promoted. The White House fought investigation. They would have preferred if there were none. If not for widows, girls of Jersey, there wouldn't be any inquiry. Bush tried to appoint Henry Kissinger, but the girls said, "Why should we listen to you? Do you think that we've already forgotten? He works for the family of bin Laden." The committee, by design, set up to fail, so no one responsible would end up in jail. 3 million budget, what a snow job. More was spent on Clinton's blowjob. A list of lawsuits as long as a mile, and not a single one made it to trial. False flags don't happen, a common refrain. To that I answer, remember the main. So if you wake up and manage to see a crime was committed to take liberty and wage wars all over the globe by an evil empire that wears no robes, then maybe you can call yourself woke and see that the media is one big joke. I hope that this you will recognize soon that there's a big ass pachyderm in this room. All right, so kind of going with the relationship theme, I thought I would play another piece of music here. This is Kai and Witsit, who are newly in a relationship. They have this dope track called In a World. In a World Productions.
You know the Earth's flat? The Earth is flat. The Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat.
Oh yeah.
Running through the cities in the last of days. Gotta face the truth, this is the masquerade. Waking up the public, time to liberate. Oh, you're doing great when they start to hate. In a world, yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome got me fighting with the slaves. But how they about to face the truth when they can't show their face? Now the system don't control me, yeah, the beast is getting slayed. Austin got the pout, they look sour, oh behave. But I'm bout my father business, witness, he gon' get this praise. I ignore you cause of Torah, only thing that I obey. I ain't with the social distancing, but I'ma need my space. They be boring me with quarantine, so stay up in your place.
The masquerade, waking up the public, time to liberate. No, you're doing great when they start to hate. In a world, yeah.
I'm sorry we didn't go to the moon, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't lie to you, bro. I'm sorry. I think it'd be cool if we went to the moon too, dude. It was a cool story. I'm sorry you got triggered.
All right, yeah, that was Kai and Witsit in a World. I really dig that tune. They just put it out maybe a couple months ago, so pretty cool. Got yet another poem here. This is called A Rocky Gap. They took a break, finding shelter from the cool winds by huddling against a sunny rock. The lingering conversation and closeness with which they sat became a tacit but unspoken admission that they would walk no further. He produced a blanket from his pack, wrapping it around both of them. He'd imagined this moment dozens of times. He'd fantasized about what he would say, how he would place a finger under her chin and admit the obvious attraction to her, complain about his meager sex life, and then emphasize his conviction to stay faithful. They would laugh awkwardly, admit that their friendship should remain platonic, and continue with their hike. He touched her face, looking into her eyes, and prepared to deliver his speech. Before he could speak, she closed the gap between them, leaning in to press her lips against his. He kissed harder, the words forgotten, and his resolve melted from the heat of their passion, which had been smoldering for months. So again, yeah, Fridays, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Bendy's open mic hour. You can locate me on Bendy Space Time on YouTube, Odyssey, and Twitter, and the Earth Awakening server on Discord. So please like, share, and subscribe so we can build our audience and performer base. So I've been doing all my boohoo relationship poems, and yet here's another one. This is called I Belong. I am only in the service of my queen. In the rare times she needs, she sends out the call. I drop whatever is happening in the moment to go running to her, for in the ignoring there is bliss. I am always so grateful each time we connect. My hands massage and caress her body until she quivers and melts. Our energy flows mutually and so naturally, and it feels so perfect, like we've been together in countless lives, the bond between us solid and timeless. Today, my queen is manic, and the enthusiasm gushes forth like water from a faulty piece of irrigation tubing. Some unknown timer deep in her subconscious has activated the flow. But instead of a steady drip, 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 delivering nourishment to the roots of her well being, the enthusiasm misses the mark and ends up spilling all over the sidewalk and evaporating in the hot desert sun. A steady stream of positive steps she is going to take to improve her life leaves her lips as she furiously organizes her desk. I listen and nod, but don't interject. Her daughter watches silently, not saying anything either, face speaking a precise, frustrated message. I've heard this so many times before. I know the dark side exists. Angry Tara, vengeful Tara, but I've never witnessed the so-called pterodactyl. I only know the loving Tara, the forgiving Tara. Dark Tara is just hearsay. We make plans, and each time I think, this time my queen will allow my service to continue. I think this time our partnership will last for more than a few hours or a day. I think that we can lean on each other for more than just that moment. But you and I are both injured inside, broken by the world, and a relationship isn't in the cards for us. Today I will bask in the radiance that is my unstoppable queen, but tomorrow the dark shadow will appear, and the communication will cease. That last text I sent will linger unanswered until the next time my queen is riding high and she requests my presence. I will be there for whatever my queen needs, but I'm always left wondering, am I the cure or just part of the disease? So yes, another uplifting bendy relationship poem. So To go with the 911-ton elephant, I have this other poem that sort of tangentially kind of goes along with the 9/11. It's sort of the aftermath. So I call this putting the money in hegemony. War is hell. Expensive, I tell you. Since the tragic day of 9/11, when dancing Israelis had their fun. $32 million an hour. Terror war, American power. 768 million a day, and yet the threats never go away. 280 billion a year, but we're still told we must live in fear. 6 trillion spent since that tragic attack, money that's gone and not coming back. Tens of millions displaced, maimed or dead, but terrorism only continues to spread. The cost in money and lives is extreme. Peace and justice remain but a dream. No one is judged or held to account. The toll of death continues to mount. While the masses continue to slumber, let's discuss some other numbers. We actively bomb 7 countries, while kids in ours find themselves hungry. In 15, we have combat troops on the ground. Out of the media, you'll hear not a sound. In 44 military bases we keep, expanding our footprint, we continue to creep. Level 50 ops, what the CIA calls illegal acts that break the law. In 134 countries, you'll find doing gangster ass shit they do not mind. This unprovoked war, it comes with a cost, and not simply in the lives that are lost. The media tells you they are keeping us free, putting the money in hegemony. All right, yeah, seems to be a constant theme here. Kind of worked through most of the material I wanted to present today. Actually, I'll do this another piece from What's Her Face. So if you're a person that's maybe on the Twitter and you kind of maybe follow the politics a little bit, the crazy politics. What's Her Face is I guess you'd call her conservative. I think she's a Canadian. And so conservatives just basically these days is like anybody that's not a full-on Marxist, I think is considered conservative. But she wrote this nice little rhyming poem called The Upside Down. So I thought I would do that.
Good evening, and welcome to The Upside Down, where what you see can never be and what you know just isn't so. Where bad is good and wrong is right, where truth went down without a fight, where you might just say, every day is opposite day. Can I offer you a mask or an anal swab? Rape is the law if it's for a good cause. Oh no, it isn't mandatory, that would be cruel. But you have no choice, that's our only rule. Before you enter, I must tell you about the world's deadliest disease. It can take you out with a single sneeze. It's a clever bugger too. It can't take out a violent mob. It only thrives in those with jobs. But luckily, we have the only cure. It won't stop it from spreading, but that's all we know for sure. So what does it do, you may ask? No one knows, so please be sure to double mask. It's super safe, the doctor said, even if you end up dead, cause the antidote can't kill you since it's the leading cause of coincidence. Now roll up your sleeve and let's go. I'll take you through the backwards show, where doctors kill and science chills for our Lord and Savior, a man named Bill. To your left, you'll find our grand display of courageous men with nothing to say. They don't provide or lead or slay. They smile, nod, and let you have your way. And to your right, you'll see our exhibition of empathy, where the rich stay home and through their phone demand that old folks die alone. Follow along the yellow dotted line to our memorial of dissent, our evil shrine. The thought criminals and sense seekers and those who disrupt, the ones who try to turn us right side up. They did not shrink to double think, so all of them died from suicide. Thank you very much for visiting the Upside Down. Now please return to the circus with the rest of the clowns.
Yeah, so again, that's what's her face. Said you can find her on YouTube and on Twitter. Very humorous. Normally she's doing like just sort of like political essays, or kind of talking about current events or politics or whatever. And I think she's very, very funny. Has a very funny outlook. So, like I said, pretty much went through the material. I did have like one story I guess I considered telling. I called this story Snow Day. So I dialed into, well, okay, let me start this over. I used to live in Virginia, Central Virginia, and I worked in a corporation doing IT work, fixing computers. And so one day it snowed about 4 inches and enough to close the offices, right? For them to declare a snow day and, let everybody have the day off. And so I saw it as the perfect opportunity to go in and get some work done. Because, during my normal work day, I was always having people tell me, come here, look at this, help me with that, help me with this. And so I look forward to just going into the office and kind of doing stuff out of the ticket queue without having anybody there to sort of interrupt me. So I got in the car and I drove to Starbucks to get myself a big, tall chocolate mocha. I got my big, tall chocolate mocha and driving into the office, and I'm very happy. And as I turn into the parking lot, I notice that there's a vehicle following behind me. And I'm sort of surprised he's turning in the same place as me. Um, but I figured, well, maybe it's somebody else that it works there. And so I wanted to back my vehicle up to the door. So instead of I pulled into a parking space that wasn't my eventual parking space because I wanted to into back up to the door. And this guy, and so the vehicle that was behind me just stopped and it didn't keep going. And so it just sat there in the driveway. So I backed up and I backed into the space and I got out and I looked at the car and I thought to myself, oh, this guy must be lost. Like he's going to ask me for directions. That's what's going on here. And so I went to my trunk and I started unloading the stuff out of my trunk. And he pulled up and he rolled down his window. And he said to me, "You didn't grow up driving around in the snow, did you?" And I said, "No, I didn't, but I lived in Colorado for 12 years." And he said, "Well, you didn't learn anything about driving in the snow. You splashed snow on this other guy's car, and you were following this other car too close." And so like I think at this time I was about 30, 31 or 32. And so like 19-year-old me, would have been like spoiling for a fight. I would have been ready to pull that guy out of his car faster than you could say felonious assault. But 31-year-old me with more mileage under the belt had already learned the lesson, like you never know who it is you're messing with. People don't really look the way like that's commensurate with whatever their skill level is in beefing or fighting. And so 31-year-old me, I the guy really pissed me off that he was saying that and that but the whole situation was weird to me. Like I felt really weird about it, like he could have a gun in the car or something. And because I went about the absurdity in my mind, I was like, wait a minute. So you're saying I splashed snow on this car, like back at the Starbucks, and then you followed me here for like a half a mile. You followed me here just to tell me that? And I said that out loud to him. And he replied, yeah. And so then I just said, well, thank you very much. And I went back to unloading the stuff in my car. And, it was like the totally boss verbal jujitsu move to pull, right? To totally diffuse, whatever he was beefing about. And he wanted me to come over and do something about it. It was the perfect way to diffuse it. So you would have thought that I would have gone in and I would have been like really happy because I've been really happy before drinking my mocha and, but instead it's put me into a really foul mood for like the next 3 or 4 hours. And I sort of stormed around at work, just mad, saying to myself, how dare that guy, you know, freaking say that stuff to me and just kind of put me in this bad mood. How dare that guy do that? And it took like about 3 or 4 hours before I came to the realization, hey, you know what? Whatever that guy's beef was, whatever problem he had, it wasn't with my driving. It was totally something else. Something else was bothering him, and I was just the convenient target that he could try to take it out on. And so I say if people on Discord are giving you a hard time and they're coming at you too hard, maybe you should think about that and just think that maybe it's not you that's causing the issues there. Maybe it's something going on with them and their problem. So eventually I got back to being in a good mood that day, but I tried to learn that lesson and use it all the time now when somebody's nasty with me, rather than taking it personally and getting upset, or just say, hey man, I hope you have a better day. And so I guess I think I'm gonna kind of wrap it up on that note, and just say that Bendy's Space Times open mic hour is always looking for performers. Contact me on Discord or Twitter, or be in the Earth Awakenings live stream one stage Fridays, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. UTC. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the show, oh yeah, and I'd also like to thank. I got help last week from Fundy and Shines, and so I didn't thank them in my other video, and I meant to do that. Thank them for helping out, and yeah, to thank Kai and Witsit and what's her face and Shines for the pieces I used this week. And thank everybody for watching. And if you've enjoyed the show, please like, share, or subscribe.
I might as well go up and talk to a wall, 'cause all the words are having no effect at all. It's a funny thing. Am I all alone?
All right, well, there you have it. What do you
Bro,
think?
Witch's
What do you
song
think,
was
Joey?
dope. Witch's song was dope, bro.
Yeah, that song is tight.
Yeah, it was good. Bro, I'm just laying on my couch. Your voice is so soothing. It's not that you were boring. It was just your voice. Like, I almost fell asleep, bro. You have this
Oh,
such a good voice.
right on.
If I ever get rich, I'm gonna hire you to tell me bedtime stories.
Ah, that's funny.
You got like a radio voice. Did you ever do radio or something?
No, learned a little bit of voice acting. I have a friend who's he's a speech pathologist, and he he trains people to act and stuff. So got a little bit of lessons from him. Yeah,
I
actually,
wanted to. I've been thinking about doing something. I don't know what to do though.
do some stand up, like write a little joke routine, and then just memorize it. And it doesn't even have to be that long if you can get like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll try to think of something.
Yeah, it helps me when I tell stories to like write it out and then read it or memorize it, because otherwise I notice I mean I know I always dog Dicelo because he always uses upon, the preposition upon, oh, it's what your knowledge is
So many
upon, and
times.
this is upon. Yes.
He
And I
uses that
and I
word so many times. You'd have to. If it was a drinking game, we'd be wasted.
I dog him for that, but I noticed as I was editing the show from last week, it's like anytime I don't have the prepared exact thing to say, I start saying so and
Yeah, but that's normal human speech pattern. When people can't see, I just did it. When people don't know what they're gonna say or whatever, they do a little quick or you know.
yeah, that's a lot better.
Upon is like a very specific.
Well, yeah, actually I came up with a little joke about that, right? Because the which preposition you use is very important, right? Because if you're an American, you'd rather be pissed off than pissed on. And if you're an Australian, you'd rather be at a piss up than pissing around.
And then you could, if you're in England, you could take the piss.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do some crypto shit, or I have messages I want to send to Flat Earth. Like, I don't want to jump in and interrupt your shit, but like, I have messages to get out to people. It's not like a comedy thing, or it'd just be like my words.
Well, next week, just hit me up, DM me.
Friday, I know. Well, I'll be here.
Yeah, and just we'll talk about it in the pre-show or whatever and figure out when, and then I'll bring you up
I'll
there.
fucking barge right in the middle of your show. It's fine.
Yeah, next week I'll have help again, because see, it would help me. Like I was kind of like, once I started, I just kind of need to just keep going because, um, like trying to do the bot for the music and switch between stuff that I need to read and stuff that I need to look at, like just hard.
Seriously, bro, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I was just mad comfy on the couch just now. My wife finally let me turn the heat on in the house, so it's nice and warm and cozy. And your voice was so soothing. I swear to God, I almost fell asleep just now.
Oh, that's funny. Like some of the, like maybe I think John Levi, he's one that a lot of times I just listen to his videos because it's kind of like his voice is really soothing.
Like Dave Attenborough, the guy that narrates Planet Earth.
Oh yeah.
That guy's got a good voice. Yeah, I fall asleep listening to that a lot. My wife's like, "You like this show?" I'm like, "It's pretty interesting." I'm like, "The guy's voice will put you right to sleep, though." Yeah, that was dope. What's its thing? It was only one verse.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
You should have put other heads up on that. Kai's thing was good. Ugh. Kai's part was good though. Yeah, that was good. Good combo right there.
Yeah, she's got a great voice. Yeah, actually,
mean, it's
I
what's
wanted
that?
to write a stand-up bit about Witsit. Actually, I have some ideas for it. I kind of ran out of time.
Like roasting him or
Yeah, a little bit.
hell yeah, let's roast this motherfucker. Let's go. I love roasts. I like
I
to Snoop. There was a roast recently. So it was I don't know who they were roasting me. I think Justin Bieber or something, but it was Snoop and Ludacris were on the thing, and Snoop roasted the shit out of Ludacris. He's like, remember when you wrote that? Remember when you said if you a pimp and you know you don't let them hoes? He's like, that shit was tight. He's like, you know who else said that? I did 15 years ago, motherfucker. Stop biting my shit. It was pretty funny.
Did you hear the bit I did about Geo last week?
No, I didn't even know like when we said we were doing this or what.
All right, so I'll just do it real quick. GeoLove's done an amazing job setting up the Earth Awakenings Discord server. A lot of people don't know that Geo is knowledgeable about the treatment of mental illness using psychedelic mind-altering plant medicine. This skill could come in handy when dealing with a community of people who are addicted to debating the shape of the Earth. Questionable mental health and flat Earth debate go together like general relativity and bendy spacetime.
Oh yeah.
You can't be an expert in psychedelic plant medicine unless you've taken more trips than a super experienced pilot like paid NASA shill.
Mm.
Geo's done so many psychedelics that the ghost of Hunter S. Thompson blushes whenever he hears Geo and Grimm talk about drugs.
Yeah, that's good.
Then my
That's
older
good. I
bit
love a good roast.
said, I have something in common with Kosho. Like Kosho, I too have driven for Lyft. It's the one occupation where cab drivers will lecture you about your poor life choices. Bro, get a job with health insurance, bro.
Yeah.
Driving for Lyft, I did learn some things. I learned that even though bartenders and strippers both work for tips, bartenders would always tip me while strippers would always leave me with a stiffy. I mean, they would always stiff me.
Ah.
It even says in the Bible, it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is to get a tip from a stripper. Vegas is known for its strip clubs, gentlemen's clubs they're called. Conjures up images of geezers in top hats, sipping tea, not guys in pool shorts doing jello shots and triggering the fraud alerts on their credit cards.
Yeah.
I also gave lots of rides to hookers. People ask me, how can you tell that they're prostitutes? I grew up in Nevada, the only state in the union that has legalized prostitution. The hooker is like our state animal, and I have lots of experience observing them in their natural habitat. From these observations, which Globers call natural science, I've formulated this simple and easy to remember premise. Hookers are like breast implants. If you start to ask yourself, I wonder if, the answer is yes, those tits are fake, and yes, that girl's a prostitute.
Yeah, that was good. That was hilarious. Yeah, you should be the hooker is our state animal. I've observed them in their natural habitat. That was great.
Thank you.
Is it just like that in Nevada where they're just like out everywhere?
You know, they have girls to your room, right? The vehicles drive around and they advertise everywhere. Girls to your room.
Oh shit.
But prostitution is illegal in Clark County, where Las Vegas is. It's illegal. In all the other counties,
That doesn't even make sense.
yeah.
You figure that'd be the one place you should just make it legal at, and then make it illegal everywhere else.
Yeah, they did that during, I think around World War II, right? Because they had an Air Force base here, and so the county decided to go ahead and make prostitution illegal, but still legal in the state. So
I feel like they should make it legal everywhere because I feel like that might. I'm not saying you're going to eliminate rape, but I feel like you knock it down a little bit, right? Some dudes want to get laid, they can't get laid, they go rape a chick. This way, they at least got an option. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
well, and I think just like, with illicit drugs, you just make it more valuable, right? By making it illegal, just makes it more, for criminals.
And you're bringing an element of crime to it, not only because it's legal, but there's more than that to it. Like if you have hookers illegal, now you need pimps to protect the hookers or whatever. So now you got their violence going on towards the women and shit. Where you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't. The drug thing's a no-brainer though. That definitely brings more crime because now they're fighting over turf and shit like that. They want to be selling the drugs everywhere, so they're fighting over the turf. Where if it was legal and you could just do it anywhere you wanted, there's no more turf to fight over. You can do it wherever you want. It doesn't matter. Yeah, some fucking ice cream cake or something. Wake up. Oh shit, the ice cream cake's melting. Damn. Are you supposed to put ice cream cake in a freezer?
Yeah, pretty much ice cream needs to be.
Yeah. Why do we have it in the fridge? No.
That's a party foul.
Somebody fucked up. I didn't think about it last night. I was like, all right, the cake's in the fridge, good.
Oh, Ruhif and Russ are here. Truss. Okay, Ruhif, we're gonna have cryptocurrency pros and cons. Jeremy's gonna go first. He's gonna tell you the pros, and then you're gonna come back and tell us the cons. How does that sound?
Or I cashed out. I cashed out today. I cash out every Friday. $700.
Nice.
Passive. Nah, some of it's not passive. Some of it is a game I play, but it takes like 20 minutes a day. It's really like nothing. Get some nice fucking interest rates, bro. Super unstable, but they're nice interest rates nonetheless.
Data has that story about how he put some money into one of those deals to like loan it out, and now he can't get his money back. Like 6 times.
That's because he did. That's because he did goofy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that could happen to anyone. No, that could happen to me. It just hasn't yet.
Ruhif, did Ranty go up the mountain yet?
I don't know. Have I seen a prediction from any of you guys yet?
I think Bev's made the key prediction.
Oh,
Well,
man, always
Ruhif,
Bev's image from, where was that place? Parbowl or something?
Hold on a second. Ruhif, in order to make a prediction, wouldn't we have to know the refraction measurements and the optical corridor?
No, if you're above the surface, you can approximate for refraction pretty accurately.
So you can just guess on the refraction that's happening. There's a guess. You must
It's not a guess. It's an approximation to a mean. You can assume standard refraction once you get above the surface.
So it's a guess. So it's a pure guess. No, so we're not going to have any measurements. We're not going to have any measurements.
When I said it's not a guess 3 times, I still mean it's not a guess.
Okay, but it is a guess. I don't know why you don't think it's
But
not.
it's not a
Because we're
guess.
not going to have any. Because we're not going to have any measurements of the optical corridor, so we're going to be strictly guessing on what's going on in between you and the.
We can analyze weather balloon data and show you that there's a very consistent refraction above the surface.
Weather balloon data doesn't give you the refraction measurements needed for the optical corridor. Come on,
It gives you.
Jesus,
I'm going
man.
to do this bullshit again, Jeremy. Bloody hell. And whatever you would like to assume or presuppose for refraction that day, I don't care. Just state it and then use it in your prediction. All right, that's the end.
So we can have any kind of refraction we want.
As long as you state it, it's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. All right,
I spoke to Brian Leakey ages ago. Brian Leakey said he wanted to do upward refraction of 8 inches per mile squared, and I said, fine, go ahead. Use that in your prediction.
Yeah, we're just going to do whatever matches the flat Earth, and there we have it. You'd concede the Earth is flat.
No, just state your assumptions at the start. I don't care what they are. Just state them and then use them to calculate a prediction.
Okay, my assumptions are the refraction is going to make it look like the ground's dropping at approximately 8 inches per mile. Now what?
Excellent. Yeah, then I show you weather balloon data that shows that it doesn't.
Your weather balloon data doesn't have the measurements of the optical. We just went through this, Ruhif. It's like you're on a record on repeat.
But if I go to every weather balloon station around the world and they all say the same thing, then what do you do?
Ruhif, these are two words. Two words. You need to familiarize
optical
yourself.
corridor, yes.
Yeah.
Right. But if I show you weather balloon data from every single weather balloon station in the world that says the opposite, are you going to claim that your optical corridor is somehow special?
The opposite of what? The optical corridor that we don't know what it is?
If I show you weather balloon data from every station around the world that shows you that it doesn't bend upwards, what will you then do with your optical corridor?
Do you have a measurement of a different optical corridor or something? I don't understand what this is a pure guess because you don't have measurements of the optical corridor.
It's not a pure guess.
Pure guess, Ruhif.
No, because there are dozens of weather balloon stations around the UK. Are you going to claim that this optical corridor that we're looking through is somehow special?
Ruhif, weather balloons don't measure optical corridors.
Yes, they do. They measure fucking.
Show me. Okay.
Conditions.
Show me one.
They measure conditions on the way up. That's what they do.
Fine. Show me one measurement where there was somebody looking at something, and these weather balloons were in between them and the thing. You're gonna need a few.
You're ignoring my point, Jeremy. You're ignoring my point. Conveniently ignoring my point.
What's your point?
My point is that if I show you weather balloon data from every station around the world and it shows that light will refract downwards, are you going to claim that this particular observation is somehow special?
I'm still going to claim that you don't have a measurement of the optical corridor that we're looking for. I don't care what's happening elsewhere.
You're conveniently ignoring the question.
It's not ignoring anything. I'm telling you, you're ignoring my thing. You don't have a measurement of the optical corridor. You're ignoring this.
I've heard you. I'm applying generalized data to
You're ignoring
the
it,
observation.
You're ignoring me.
I'm not. I've answered you multiple times. We answered this weeks ago, and I told you.
You told me you had a measurement of the optical corridor with weather balloons, which are in between you and the thing you're looking at. So it's not a measurement of the optical corridor.
In the Mojave Desert one, yeah. There happens to be weather balloons. Huh?
If you have any observation where you've measured the optical corridor, if so, I'd like to see it. If not, there's nothing.
There is weather balloon data. There is weather balloon data for the Mojave Desert where I did do observations, and if you analyze that, it shows a very consistent refractive index above the surface.
How many weather balloon points were
they sent up
data
twice a day? They sent up two a day.
Okay, so both of them were in between you and the thing you were looking at.
I think they were a few hundred meters to the left or something.
Okay,
and then you're going to claim
you don't know what an optical corridor is. Clearly,
but then this is what you're going to do. You're going to put yourself into a corner where you're going to say, "Oh, the conditions 500 meters to the right are somehow completely different, and they refract upwards." This is the position you're in. It's retarded.
Ruhif, two very important words: optical corridor.
Yeah, and then what happens, right? Is let's say I have a weather balloon literally right in the line of sight, right?
Yep.
Then you're going to say, oh, but your line of sight is 30 kilometers, you're going to need weather balloons all along that 30 kilometers. You're as bad as fucking Travis.
You're definitely going to need more than, I mean, depending on how far you're
Yes,
going.
here we go.
You're definitely going to need a couple measurements in between you and the thing you're looking at.
You did exactly what I thought you'd do.
That's only the beginning of your problems.
And,
trust me.
you know that it's disingenuous, right?
I know it's disingenuous to ask for an actual measurement, Ruhif. How crazy of me.
And I can give you weather balloon data from all around the world, which demonstrates one thing, that once you get away from the surface, the refractive conditions are predictable.
So crazy to ask for an actual measurement. That is disingenuous of me.
Again,
I'm so sorry.
I can give you a million weather balloon data measurements.
Well, all we want is one measurement of the optical corridor
like I said,
of an observation, which you don't have.
Once I give you one measurement, you're going to go, oh, I want one measurement every kilometer, just in case conditions change. The weather balloon data says that once you get above the surface, the refractive gradient is predictable.
Okay, still no optical corridor measurement.
Yeah, and again, we've been down this track, so it's a pointless argument.
Show us time.
Yeah.
What's the K stand for?
Oh, Jesus, Jeremy. I thought you used to be cool, honestly.
You don't even understand.
You used to be able to have a discussion with.
Do you want to talk about something else?
Sure. I should get out of bed, but anyway.
What do you got? What time is it?
Maybe we can talk about you guys actually, understanding shit and using that understanding to predict something. Because it's easy to sit in your corner and just deny everything, right? That was the point. We discussed this yesterday, didn't we, about my monetary challenge. You guys bring your positive evidence and put it up against the globe. No one's willing to do it.
Well, you guys have made globe claims that you now need to prove. It's not up to us to prove something. I didn't make a claim. You made the claims of the globe and all this nonsense.
Right.
So it's not up to me to prove things, right? Whoever makes the claim proves stuff.
Right. But who decides their burden of proof?
The burden of proof is on the person making the positive claim.
No. Who decides whether something is compelling to them?
I thought you said burden of proof. If something's compelling or not, it depends on if it's definitive.
Well,
something's definitive and objective.
Well, I believe I have objective stuff, right? But do you believe I have objective stuff?
Like your measurement of your optical corridor objective? Or something other than that?
No, my measurements over in California, right? So that's objective evidence for me that the Earth's curved.
What'd you measure?
I measured the angle from one point of known elevation to another point of known elevation.
You realize elevation angles are taken off a horizontal.
Yes, I do understand that, yes.
Then you measure the elevation above that horizontal.
Oh, the elevation from sea level, yeah.
Horizontal, Ruhif. That's what an elevation angle is.
Yeah, perpendicular to down, right? Yep. And?
No, Ruhif. They make a horizontal. Measure an elevation angle above that.
Yes.
Horizontal, not curving.
No, horizontal is just a perpendicular to down. It's a plane that's perpendicular to down.
Yeah, and it's not curving. Yeah. And you get your height by making an angle measurement above the...
Yeah, a horizontal plane is by definition flat, right? That doesn't make the surface flat.
Okay, but why? How can you take an elevation angle if you're using a horizontal?
Horizontal is perpendicular to down, correct?
Horizontal is a straight line.
Well, a horizontal plane is a plane, but it's perpendicular to down at all points.
It's perpendicular to your point.
Yeah, perpendicular to down. So I've got a horizontal plane, and then I measure an angle from that. What's the problem?
And see how high up something is in the distance.
Yep.
Yeah. So where's the curve come in?
Yeah, because the
where
downs.
Does the curve come in? You're using a horizontal.
Yeah. I was literally 2 words into it, right?
Go ahead, my bad.
The curve comes in when those down vectors are not parallel.
Sorry, what?
The curve comes in when those down vectors, so from your observer position to anywhere else on the Earth, when those vectors are not parallel, and they are demonstrably not parallel.
And how far were you looking through your optics when you made this measurement?
Some were, I think, about 30 Ks, and some was about 50 Ks, I think.
30 kilometers. So you got there's gonna be some refraction in that, right? You weren't looking straight up, were you?
I was not looking straight up.
That's awesome. Let's see the refraction data.
And we've been through that again. Once you get above the surface, the refractive index, the refractive gradient is predictable.
Hey, show me one optical corridor measurement that shows this.
Yeah, and I'll show you weather balloon data that shows that it's predictable.
Optical corridor measurement.
We're just going around in circles. You're going to have to
circular reasoning. I know it's because your shit's circular reasoning.
But you know though, right? Because all this weather balloon data is going to show the same thing, and then you have to claim that the area that I just happened to shoot through is special. You have to.
You're going to show me an optical corridor measurement, or no?
Yeah. You're avoiding it. You're avoiding it, and we know
you're
why.
avoiding this. This is what you desperately need is an optical corridor measurement that you don't have.
Yeah, and how about I shoot through the weather balloon station next time? Then will that satisfy you, or will you then go, oh no, you need multiple measurements through the corridor?
You're gonna have 1.2. You do need multiple measurements through the corridor, of course. That way you know what the light's going in between these areas.
Should I launch infinite weather balloons? Should I have infinite weather measuring devices through the optical corridor?
I wouldn't say infinite. At least one every kilometer, one every half kilometer, or something to know. If you don't have a measurement, how are you gonna know what's happening?
I have measurements in the form of weather balloon data, which makes it predictable.
No, Rohif, you're lost, bro. You're lost. You need help.
Yep,
mental help.
I lost. Let's go on to another topic.
No, you're just. I don't mean you lost this argument. You're lost in the weeds.
Yeah, but whatever, right?
Not whatever.
We know you have to sit in the corner.
Optical corridor. Give me a measurement of an optical corridor, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Until then, you have
I know
nothing.
that you have to be in the corner saying, "Oh, that's